Interviewing today with Harry Hinds, World War II era, and we're just going to sit here and find out a little bit about where Harry was at during World War II. Harry, the first thing, what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the 8th Air Force.
8th Air Force, so got most of England, I suppose.
England most of the time.
When did you go in?
In January 43.
Were you living in Palmyra at that time?
Living in Palmyra, I was married, had a daughter 3 weeks old, Cheryl, and didn't get home for 3 years.
So she kind of grew up on you.
Yeah.
Where did you first enter the service?
I went in Jefferson Barracks, and then I went to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, just for a few days, picked up cigarette butts in 3 foot of snow. And then we went to Florida for basic, Clearwater Beach, Florida. Then went to New York City for airplane engine training. From there went to Lynn, Massachusetts for supercharger training.
All right.
From there to Texas for a couple of weeks. And then shipped overseas.
You left Texas. Did you go directly overseas from Texas?
We went to Newport, no. We went to New Jersey someplace.
All right. Did they ferry you over by plane or
boat?
Okay, you went by boat.
Bad boat.
You remember what the name of the boat was
No.
that you were on? It wasn't one of those Liberty ships that was it?
That bad or worse.
I managed to get in on one of those Liberty ships for once. So when you arrived in England, you remember?
I think we arrived in Scotland. Went from Scotland to England and was assigned to a service squadron there.
The squadron, you were an airplane mechanic then? Engine
Well,
mechanic?
it was supposed to be. It didn't turn out that way. When we got over there, they put us on the planes and we did a little flying and did some mechanic work and just wherever they wanted us. It was a kind of an experimental group, and we were only in on a couple of combat missions. We flew all kind of planes, fighters. We fixed them up where we could fly in them and kind of changed the design on them. P-38 bombers, we made it where we could have a bomb sight in the front end, and a guy could actually ride in there and actually bomb with a P-38 bomber. I mean a P-38 fighter.
There's a new book out called The Mighty Eight. That's pretty recent. That's about the 8th Air Force during World War II. Starts with the first formation of it and so forth, on through the war. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Not seen, not much of a reader.
What, you said that you worked with different airplanes. We always think of the 8th Air Force as bomber related with B-17s and B-24s and so forth. Was there one dominant type of
We had both. It was just about 50-50, 17s and 24s. One time during the war, they sent a B-29 over there just so we could look at it and see if we could make any changes on it. Never used bomber 29s in Europe, to my knowledge. The one time they sent a jet over there, first one we'd ever seen, and it could do anything except couldn't carry enough fuel to get any place. And they used none of those. I don't think they used any of those in Europe.
What was the nearest town, English town that you
I think it was Bovington, which is about 25 miles out of London. We got bombed a lot whenever London did, we got it.
Did you ever get involved with any of the so-called buzz bombs or any of those?
Lots of times. I got knocked clear off the wing of a 17 one time when one exploded. I don't know where, but probably 2 miles away. They were a weird sounding thing coming at us.
Now they could, those were slow enough though that they could shoot them down, couldn't they?
Well, we tried first. First they put up a bunch of barrage balloons, you know, with cables, and a lot of them would hit those cables, and that would turn them down. Then a lot of the fighters could go up and actually tip the wing of them, and they would go down. And the Germans got to put detonators out there on those wings, and they would explode and just blow up both of them, so they kind of quit getting that close. They would follow them yet and try to shoot them down, but they weren't very accurate. They just, whenever they ran out of fuel, down they went.
Were you around when any of the V2s
Yeah.
began to, you
Yeah.
couldn't hear those coming, could you?
You got no warning, just the explosion. Couldn't. We wouldn't get any air. We'd get an air raid warning on the whatever we just talked about.
Buzz bombs?
The buzz bomb, we'd get a warning, yeah. Or if they sent their bombers over, which we about had them wiped out, they had much problem with them.
What about England itself? What was it like?
Didn't like it. No part of it. Of course, we didn't get to see much of it. We were pretty well confined to the base. We didn't.
Didn't get much liberty time?
None, no. We'd get out. I think I had one furlough while I was over there and went to the Isle of Man for 3 days or something. And a couple of friends of mine and that was about it. Had one furlough into London. And while I was in there, they stole all my money. And the Red Cross the next day offered to give me 37 cents to get back to town, back to my camp. No money to finish my furlough.
Just offhand, you don't really think about those types of things, between servicemen. Or of course, I don't know the circumstances, whether it was a serviceman or not, but I don't normally think of it. What about any special friends that you made while you was over there?
Well, I had 2 friends all the way through. They're both dead now. One just died in the last year. And no friends. I made no friends in England. No. You mean of the English people? No.
Well, that and also people that you
Not
served
really. Not really, because we would just come and go. We were transferred so many times in the service that we got tired of keeping track of people.
I know that different ones that I've been talking to, lots of times they'd be surprised somebody from the Midwest or something that they knew, they just accidentally bump into them.
Well, I'll take that back. I ran into Bill Neal over there. He came by. In fact, he was one of them that talked me into wearing a parachute when I was flying, because I never did wear one. And he always said, well, if you got close to that door, he said, what if it explodes? You're not going to pick up and shoot at the back door. You're going to be out. So from then on, I started. And then, of course, Bill was killed right after the war. And then I went, I think it was to Braintree, England one time, to see J.B. Krager. He was in the hospital there. And I saw Charlie Myers while I was over there. I believe I did. And then I saw Bill Dixon one time. And I think that was about the size of it.
I know several of those people I've met, since I've come to Palmyra. When did you finish up your tour over there?
In I was low on points because we was in a service squadron and we flew right with the other bombers and everything else. But being as we were a service squadron, we didn't get the Bronze Stars and things, which qualified for the points to get out. So when the war was over, I only had about 66 points, and they were sending me, then they were going to send us home for supposed to be a 30-day furlough, and then we were going to Japan. I wasn't going to go, but they didn't know that. But anyhow, 2 days before we landed, our ship broke down, and that was the day they dropped the bomb, and war was over. So we was the first boat into Newport News, Virginia, after the war. Got a royal welcome there and celebrated a little bit too much, but it didn't feel too much like going home. Next day, did.
What, so Newport News is where you
That's where I landed.
back? Now, when were you mustered out?
In August of '46, we, after we got to Jefferson Barracks, well, I guess we got our 30-day furlough. And then they keep sending us home, convenience of the government, till the points got low enough that we were released.
When did you first get to see your daughter after you got back?
Well, Betty and her came to New York while I was there. And then Betty stayed a while, and our daughter came on, and my mother took care of her until Betty went home. And then one time going through St. Louis, we heard we was going to be at St. Louis at a certain time. And somewhere or another, I bribed someone into making a phone call, and so my folks were there and met us, and we had probably a couple hours together there. And that was before we went over. And then Betty came to Texas where I was, and we were supposed to be there for several months, and we were only there about a week, and they told us to pack up your stuff and tell everybody goodbye because we were going overseas. So that was when we left.
So, all told, you were in from 1942?
January 43.
January 43.
Till August of 46.
Yeah. Okay, so 3.5 years.
Yeah, almost over 2.5 years in England, and was bad. There was we had a place to sleep every night. You know, if we didn't get shot down, we had a place to go to bed, where the other guys didn't. But no food. We never did have a decent meal from the whole time we were there. I never could quite figure that out, but that's the way it was.
Did you ever get, I guess you had your fair share of those special ration things that they used to
Not
use.
overseas, we wish we had some.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, we had them in the States, but we got very little of it overseas. We got very little food. I don't know what the problem was, but we didn't get it. In fact, we had some pretty bad food in the United States. So I've eaten ever since.
Yeah, that was kind of my problem too.
Yeah.
After I got out of service, I really put the weight on.
Well, they took it off of me awful fast in basic training in Florida. That was quite an experience too. And of course, that was when I was promoted to corporal, and then I was a corporal I was made a PFC, I guess, when I went to engine school, corporal when I went to supercharger school, and then due to it being a service squadron, there was no promotions. They, you know, really the combat crews, they kind of got, they didn't last as long. You moved up, you know, but we didn't have that option. We were flying with master sergeants and tech sergeants, and we had no ranking, but we did the same thing that they did. It was kind of a strange situation. D-Day, we were getting the bombers over there. I did not fly on D-Day, but I never saw so many planes, well, we'll never ever again see as many planes as we saw. In any direction that you look, there was thousands of planes just making a circle, refueling, reloading, and hitting.
Well, Harry, I want to thank you for coming in, and
My pleasure.
we're going to keep this on file, and it'll be on tape, and Carol will have a sheet to give you that you could fill out if you would, and just bring it back to her sometime at your convenience. And if you have a picture while you were in service, you bring that to her and she'll make a copy of it and keep it with the files. And we're going to have those files here at the library for anybody at the time. And then the American Legion's also going to keep a
And then,
copy.
a lot of people didn't know that, but the American Legion was named after our uncle,
Oh, is that
who
right?
was killed in World War I. Dixon.
Yes.
There was two people from this town killed, Boots and Howard Dixon, which was my mother's youngest brother, and he was killed in World War I, and that's where,
I've known you for quite a while, but I never knew that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been a member of the Legion for, well, ever since I came from the war, and just don't get involved with it at all. I try to stay as far away from that war as I can stay.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of it wasn't
No
heavy
fun.
injury,
No fun.
but we sure thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
I'll call you my neighbor, because that's what you are out there.
Right across the road.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Did it cut off?
If it had